welcome to episode 5 of the movie Lighthouse, shining a light through the fog of film. Okay, so I'm James.
I'm Wyndham.
I'm Laurie.
I had to think there for a minute. Okay, so
Who's he? Oh,
who's what?
he's not there.
Nico.
Look.
Yeah, I'm afraid Nico has left the building.
There's a space round our table.
Yeah, he couldn't make the journey in to do the podcast anymore, so I'm afraid he had to leave.
Damn it.
He also hated the films that we chosen, so that didn't really help either.
He chose 2 of those films.
He did choose 2 of those films, but never mind. I'm sure he'll be listening wherever he is.
Foreign Legion.
And I have to say, I am a little concerned because with the person in the group with the least film knowledge, he does represent more than 25% of the knowledge within the group. So
yes.
There's a lot of onus on you two guys now.
So it's going to really go downhill now. Great. It does mean we're going to mix things up a little bit, but I'll tell you about that later.
Okay.
So, shall we get on with some other news?
Yeah.
I just want to say a big thank you to the Blue Box podcast, which is a Doctor Who podcast.
Thank you, Blue Box.
Yeah, they gave us a really, really nice little review in their last episode. And it was very nice of them. It's a brilliant little podcast. I've been listening to it for 5 years, and it's for intelligent people who like to talk about Doctor Who.
There's a lot of intelligent, interesting stuff in Doctor Who, isn't there?
It is. So, JR, thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, thank you, JR. I did listen to you kind of sort of breaking down the synopsis of, kind of how we do this podcast.
And now we finally understand it.
Bless your heart, I'm trying to tackle that little number.
Yeah, it was very confusing.
It was.
All right, so I've got a little bit of other news. Does everyone remember V?
Yes.
V, yeah,
it's a little mini-series classic from the early 80s, and then
it was remade as well.
Yeah, not very successfully about 5 years ago.
And they tanked it quite quickly.
Yeah.
Who was your favourite character?
Oh, Diana, I think.
I like the cool...
Oh, no, Mike!
Mike!
Yeah,
Mike.
The journalist.
Was he from Beastmaster?
Yes.
Beastmaster guy.
Yeah.
He was the one that went around on the really cool bike with the cool helmet. Anyway, that was my one.
BMX Bandits?
I don't remember that.
There was a cool guy on a cool bike.
The guy
you're thinking of Elliot from E.T.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was like a motorbike. Right, Scrambler.
The guy who played Willie in V also did another famous role. Do you know what it is?
Yes. He was Freddy Krueger, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. He went on to play Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Anyway, they are making it into a couple of big motion movies.
Are they?
Yeah. So a couple
Who's
of years
they?
I don't know, the people who make movies, I suppose.
Oh, okay.
Anyone but us. We're not making them.
Yeah.
But I loved it when I was a kid, so I'm looking forward to that.
Is it basically like... Because I must admit, I didn't actually watch the original.
What?
Properly. Not really. So is it basically aliens infiltrating Earth?
Yeah. I mean,
secretly?
No, not secretly at all, because all the spaceships turn up over every major city. But it's kind of, it was like loosely based on the Nazis, basically, but instead of having Nazis, they had lizards.
Right.
But they all
Wearing
came
human
down
skins.
wearing human skins, saying we just want a bit of water and a few resources because our planet's not very well.
We promised to be nice to you.
So like a friendly turn-up, but
Yeah.
actually...
Then they started infiltrating society, and then people started going missing because they were eating them.
Yeah.
Shit.
Which was the problem with, I thought, the remake, because they never got onto the fact that people were being taken away to be eaten, which is by far the best part of the whole thing.
They clearly projected that to run a lot longer than it did.
Yeah.
Because it ran 4 or 5 episodes, something like that? Or was it a whole season? Can't remember.
It definitely got to the end of the season
did it?
because Diana from the original came back as the mother of...
And 1 season is far too long to go before you find out people have been eaten.
Absolutely. I don't think you even saw a big reveal either.
No, I think you saw a bit of an eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did that in episode 1. Alright, yeah.
Come on.
I can tell you that I've spent all day talking about it. It's great. Anyone else got any news?
I watched Altered Carbon.
Oh,
Recently
yeah.
on Netflix. So it's an adaptation of a book. Joel Kinnaman, James Purefoy, Martha Higuerada, Chris Connor, people like that. Really, really good. It's quite Blade Runner-y.
Yeah.
It's quite Blade Runner in its looks. I've seen the first 2 episodes. There's some great ideas.
Some brilliant ideas. The concept is that our consciousness is downloadable into effectively like a disc, and you can just pull the disc out of your sleeve, which is a body, and you can spin it back up in a different body. Really, and it's a kind of like a whodunit. It's a crime thriller. It's really. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very, very well done.
Yeah.
Even though it's got Joel Kinnaman in it, and he is in my bad books because he played Alex Murphy in the remake of RoboCop.
Okay. Which
So
it's never a good thing.
I had trouble with his face and his physique. I was like, am I enjoying this face and physique?
He's
And
got
then
a
I
very
got
nice
to
physique.
I got to it, and his hair's a bit shit. And I was like, I quite like his shit hair. And then I came round, actually. So I'm 2 episodes in. I've got to the bit where she says, I excrete some special intoxicating excretion.
Uh-huh.
And there's some in my fufu. She doesn't say that, though. She
No, she
gives you
doesn't.
the C word.
She does.
And I was like, ooh. And I thought about this. I was like, if someone said that to me, but if I was right in the moment, I was feeling all randy, then maybe I'll allow her to say that. But because she said... Well, no, not allow
her
her.
permission.
No. In my mind, like, I allow you to say that and I still feel randy.
Okay.
Would
Kind of
there
thing.
be
If I was in the
a mirror
moment-
and lingerie involved in this?
Yeah, there's lingerie. No, she didn't have any lingerie.
No,
and
but
I
you-
don't like her physique either. There's too much muscle.
They are lean. Between
Everything's
them, there's about
lean and-
1%
lean.
fat.
So you're quite muscly and you like to run and
There's a
jog.
lot more than 1% fat in me, though.
Is there?
In me? On me? I'm not quite sure.
I don't
It's
know.
next
Quite
to you.
But I suppose if the actors don't work out, they could just swap them.
100%.
Yeah.
But
But I
I-
think that concept of the disc thing, though, actually, I think that may potentially happen sometime in the future. Immortality
With
via
AI
sort
and
of
all
a
that kind of
digital
stuff.
downloaded consciousness.
Yeah.
Can that be?
No.
Not right now.
Okay.
They can't
Could it be?
No, basically.
It could be in some sense, though. In some sense. Maybe it's not an actual... Anyway.
But the fact is, without getting too deep into
Yeah.
every time you download it, you're just killing your original self. You're just a copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a copy without degradation is the argument.
So the kids could still be
effectively,
happy. Hello, Daddy. Yes, son. You know what I mean?
No.
Okay.
You got the news, Lauren?
I've seen a shitload. It's been quite a while since we did our last one.
Yeah.
Which I believe was the Star Wars one, which we're quite into.
Why did you enjoy that one, Laurie, so much?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Because you did all
I
the
just
talking.
got good feelings about it. Yeah, I did
Well, you
about
can't.
90%.
You
of
can't
them.
review any old films. You know that in the news section. News is like new news.
New news. I've done a lot of watching of stuff. There was I think it's called. What's it called? The Vanishing? Oh, no, not The Vanishing. Oh shit! I've forgotten what it's even called. I watched it last night about some dude that's basically going invisible. It was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, well, not thoroughly enjoyed it, but it was pretty good.
So check out what?
Check out, I can't remember what it's called. It just turned up on Sky. Look at that premiere, and there she blows. Something to do with someone vanishing. It will give it away in the title. Also saw Get Out.
That's
Obviously, there's been a lot of noise
Really
about that. I know
enjoyed
you
Get
guys
Out.
have talked about it a little bit. That
Second
was
movie
great
choice
fun.
last year.
And a big thing about that one, obviously, it was acted really well. It was a lovely little sort of little burner. What the shit's going on here? And the reveal is kind of what you was expecting anyway. But I like that you have that visual element of, you know, when he goes into the dark or whatever they call it, go into the black, of him falling into the...
When he's been
that
hypnotised.
sort of screen, yeah. So obviously we all have our, you know, different levels. We've got the physical level, and then we've got our internal level. And I like seeing that kind of stuff on film. So that was fun. And, I'll leave my news there for now.
I also watched 3 Billboards.
Oh yeah.
You guys have seen it?
No.
I thought it was brilliant. Really enjoyed it. I know there's been some varying thoughts on it in the press and all that kind of stuff, but I just thought it was really, really good. Really brilliant performances by Frances McDermott.
Yeah.
I think she's a shoe-in for the Oscars, which is tomorrow.
Yeah, she got the BAFTA.
I think it's tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Woody Harrelson, I thought was excellent.
Woody Harrelson is always excellent.
He really is, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
and Sam
consistently
Rockwell
good
as well, another one of those actors who is never bad.
Yeah, absolutely right. Ever since Woody Harrelson has been good since Cheers.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then it was the People versus Harry Flynn. And then White Men Can't Jump.
Yeah. Zombieland.
Kingpin's a bonker. Yeah.
I'm terrible at remembering what people have been in.
Yeah.
I know it was in Planet of the
Natural Born
Apes.
Killers. I didn't like.
Which you didn't like.
I love Natural Born Killers.
I didn't like that.
You don't like it?
Well,
I hope it comes up. We can choose
Mickey
it.
and Mallory Knox.
Yeah. All right. If you haven't got superhero fatigue, there's a new superhero series starting this year, Krypton,
right.
which is a prequel to Superman, the actual guy.
You don't sound too interested in this, even though you're telling me.
Well, because I've got superhero fatigue.
I have
way too many. But this is going to be set on Krypton like 100 years or 50 years before it all blows up. It's all about the demise. I think it's about Superman's granddad.
Right.
So
And who's he? We don't know yet.
No, I don't know. I think Gerard will be in it.
Oh my god, it's about his granddad. Oh wow.
Yeah. I do have a bit more news actually. I just suddenly thought of something.
Oh, go on.
So Secret Cinema Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So Uncle Vicky, who actually does a podcast review, doesn't she?
Yeah, very successful 15-minute theatre podcast.
Which is a great podcast.
It
I
is,
really do enjoy it. Actually. It's a very good listen.
Even if it's never 15 minutes.
Never.
So yeah, bless her cotton. She got wind of these tickets coming through. Secret Cinema Blade Runner. And she said, right, okay, everyone get ready. The tickets are either 50 quid or 60 quid. Let me know. Turned out to be £100. Great!
That's because we're going on the Saturday, though. So
Oh, right.
The cheaper tickets are midweek.
Okay, so, but anyway, my wife's a bit grumpy with me because
Yeah.
I only got one ticket.
That's only
right?
one of the reasons.
Yeah, that's one of the many reasons why she's grumpy with me. So I'm in the mind of like, okay, I need to sell this on. No one's bought it as of yet.
Oh, you're not going?
Well, no, I'm currently going. I've still got the ticket.
I'll take it, because I haven't got a ticket.
Well, no, wait, back up.
You've missed the point of this completely and now just derailed.
I'm putting this question, so you've been...
Or did I?
I'm going to ask Wyndham. Wyndham, you have been to a Secret Cinema, is
I
that
have,
correct?
yeah. I've been to a couple of their big events. I've been to 3 of them, actually.
Should I sell this £100 ticket, or do you think it's going to be worth it?
My feeling, having been to the Empire Strikes Back one, is it will definitely be worth it.
You see, the reason I didn't get a ticket is because, as you may well know, every time I sit down to watch Blade Runner, I fall asleep.
You do?
And it's happened about 8 times, so I've given up now.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to spend 100 quid and then fall asleep.
But don't forget, there'll be a whole immersive experience which before the film, which you won't be able to sleep through. Well, you might be.
Well, this is it. I just don't know. But I don't want to go through all of that and then just fall asleep again.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit with... Is there an owl?
Yeah, absolutely, there's an owl.
It's
Yeah.
the owl that sends me to sleep. Can I always get to that bit and then it's...
Do you have the same
Do you
problem
like
with
our
Jason
owl?
and the Argonauts?
Maybe I was hypnotised when I was younger. Huh, Jason?
Is there not an owl in there?
Yes, a
Clockwork owl in
Clockwork Owl and Jason and the Argonauts.
That's a great owl.
It is a wonderful owl.
That's a really good owl.
Anyway, and I suppose the last bit of news I wanted to say is that the first series of Star Trek Discovery finished. Has anyone been watching it?
No.
No.
Oh,
I saw
really?
the first 4 episodes and then...
It picked up. It did
Oh,
pick
did it?
up, yeah. But the problem is, again, it's another prequel. So I am sick of... I don't understand why they keep having to tell the story that happened before and then try and tie it into stuff. You know, how can you...
yeah.
The technology in Star Trek Discovery is way more advanced than it was with Captain Kirk in the
And
60s.
have they resolved that?
No, but at the end... I don't want to give a spoiler away, but they're about to meet up with maybe... something that happened in the other series.
Yeah. But like you say, it completely limits the writing. They're
Yeah.
kind of sort of tied to, you know...
You can't have any Borg, and I
Yeah.
always thought they were the best thing about Star Trek, really.
Yeah, so interesting decisions.
Although
But-
they were stolen by the concept of the Cybermen from Doctor Who.
Well...
Should say.
I did actually finally get to the end of Stranger Things, and the last episode I sobbed like a baby.
Oh.
I'm quite an emotional soul, but
You are.
just the prom night.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've already said this.
I've told it to you guys, but I haven't said it to,
Are you sure?
to those listeners out there.
Okay.
No. I sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. It was great. I did find with this series though, it was a little bit aware of itself. I think a lot of stuff with 11. I don't know. There's some stuff that I found a little bit kind of cringy, but I still did really enjoy.
You
it.
mean like the whole episode with all the other freaks
With
in
number
the
6
city?
and number 7.
That was just awful.
Yeah.
And the
I
bit
think they're
where...
trying to open it up.
And the
though,
bit
maybe.
where, because, you know, the lights, the Christmas lights in Series 1 with a sort of brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Was it really as good when they did those
The
drawings
drawings.
all around the house?
Yeah.
So we need another one of those. What could we do? Done lights.
They did exactly that. Yeah.
You know, they'll be doing clay next.
Yeah.
Was Winona Ryder in Ghost? was that
No,
right?
that was
Demi
Demi Moore.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe not. All right. So, all right. Well, that's the news. Should we? Let's get on with the podcast.
Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Lighthouse.
All right. So we chose 1963.
Really pleased there was another 1960s. Yeah.
Right, let me just point out, we did not choose 1963,
No,
did
your
we? We
ball
were kind
bag
of...
of wonder
Yeah.
provided a ball
Yeah,
which
we-
corresponded with that.
It's not a decision, is it?
That's what we
Fate.
chose.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, let me give you a bit of context.
We
before-
plucked
before we
1963.
pull out. Yeah, we got 1963.
Yeah,
Right.
the reason
And
why
we
I'm
all
pointing-
agreed on
the
that.
reason why I'm pointing this out is because we're getting a little bit of flack about the films we're
Oh
choosing.
yeah, it's random. It's random. Well, that's something else. But right, let me tell you a bit of news about 1963. You may be surprised to know that JFK was assassinated.
Was he?
Yep. Martin Luther King delivers his "I Have a Dream" speech,
Good speech.
and it was the Profumo crisis.
Was it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was the start of Beatlemania.
Yeah.
On TV, you would have been watching Armchair Theatre, The Saint, or The Avengers, and The Avengers, I
Interesting.
suppose.
I'd have been watching The Saint and The Avengers, I think.
Have you?
No, I would have been.
Oh,
Yeah. And
I would have been.
a very famous science fiction series started in November 1963.
Was it Doctor Who?
It was Doctor.
Ah, brilliant.
Yeah. Top of the charts was the South Pacific album and Elvis's G.I. Blues.
South Pacific album as in the musical.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Good year, eh? and the people who died in this year, JFK, obviously.
Yeah.
Kind of already knew that. C.S. Lewis died, Patsy Cline, and Edith Piaf.
Oh, goodness.
And the top grossing films of the year were Cleopatra, How the West Was Won, and It's a Mad, Mad World.
Right. Okay, so you've probably set the scene there, haven't you,
Yeah.
really?
I have. We are now in 1963.
So the Beatles are posed to take over the world any moment.
Absolutely. So Nico chose Bloodfeet. No, he didn't. You
No, he didn't.
Wyndham.
I did it.
You did it. You did.
And I'm
Yeah, he
not
did.
sorry. I did, yeah.
I proposed it.
Yeah, you proposed
Laurie
it.
chose it.
Yeah,
So
I
you're
was
both to blame. Nico is not to blame for what we're about to receive.
Yeah.
I think
All right.
that's fair.
So let's play a clip of the movie and then let's come back and talk about it. shall we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pete, this is the worst yet. I don't know what to make of it. 7 killings in 2 weeks. Young girls. And each killing more brutal than the other. This lab report doesn't mean anything. We went over that last girl's apartment with a fine-tooth comb. The body looked like Jack the Ripper had got to her. There should have been clues all over the place. And we couldn't come up with one.
Yeah, and the DA's office is getting hot too, Chief. Well, we're just working with a homicidal maniac, that's all.
Okay, so I chose Blood Feast. Herschel Gordon Lewis. It was made in 1963, obviously. Came out the 6th of July. Boom, there it was. It took at the box office, surprisingly, $40 million. No, sorry, knock a zero off. $4 million, which is still considerable.
Which seems
Not
like
bad.
a lot of money.
Can I just say as well, Nico mentioned that the film actually came out in 1966, but I checked that,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure it did come out in 1963. It may have had another release, but I think it came out in 63.
Yeah. Well, that's as far as my research has gone.
Right.
Yeah, it was definitely 63. But what you've really got here is we'd never seen anything like it. Herschel G. Lewis, whatever his face was, he was in some sort of multiplex. They were making films at the time. He was making films that, were doing all right, I think. But he walked out of some screening of one of his films. He's like, I need to do something different. I need to do something we've never seen before. And then there was this huge sort of Cleopatra.
Well, that was the highest grossing film.
There
of the
you
year.
go. So he must have been at Cleopatra, actually, yeah. And he saw this papier-mâché, huge Cleopatra head. And he looked at it and went, wait a minute. Yeah, some sort of sacrifice, blood, gore,
And was he hungry?
He's probably a little bit peckish.
Blood, food,
Peckishness.
blood food.
And where are the virgins?
Yeah, and then just decided to basically give birth to kind of what's now known as kind of a slasher gore fest film. We'd never seen anything.
Had he ever made a film before in his life? Or was it like just a change of career for him?
Well, no, he was making films, but
Right.
he just wanted to make something different that they'd never seen before. He wanted to kind of shock.
Was he good? Or is his earlier films good?
I don't know too much about his before his gore.
Should we have first thoughts on this
Flurry.
film?
Because there there are some standout things about
Yeah,
this.
we'll get to that. Well, Wyndham, what did you think of?
So, I think it's always difficult because we're going back 55 years.
Yes.
Which is quite a long time. And, however, I would say that the art of storytelling has been around a lot longer than the last 55 years. So, do you know what? It was really entertaining, but for a lot of the wrong reasons.
Absolutely.
I think, bearing in mind what you just said, that he decided to do something different. To me, this is laugh out loud at some of this stuff, because I think he sat there going, I need to do something different. I'm going to make splatter, slasher, there's going to be blood.
Yeah.
And that's all he focused on. That is the one dimension he looked at. He didn't bother trying to employ professional actors. He didn't employ a professional scriptwriter. He didn't employ sound people. And maybe he didn't have any money, I get that. But it's just so amateurish.
It's
I think
very, very amateurish.
But it is hilarious because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched it 3 times now, and
It's only an hour as well,
Yeah.
so it's not a big investment of your time.
which is good.
Yeah.
Because I think any longer would be too much. But I couldn't believe it when I first watched it. It was like it's like someone had just thrown it together in a week.
Yeah, so one of the opening scenes...
They made it in 9 days. It took 9 days.
So there's
9 days.
There's the second scene where
The shop.
Yeah, where Mrs. Fremont.
Hold on, let's just get the name of this shop. What was it?
Fuad Ramsey's Exotic Egyptian Cuisine or something like that? Something like that.
Exotic catering.
Exotic catering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Oh my lord.
So the premise for everybody out there is you've got the Fremonts, who are very posh American middle class, I guess.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Fremont is throwing a party for her daughter, Miss Crepe Suzette.
Who's a carbon copy of Barbie, the Barbie doll.
Exactly. And she goes to Fuad Ramsey's.
However she got through that door with her hat.
It's a
is
massive
beyond me.
peach hat,
It's
isn't it?
it's the widest brim on that hat that you could possibly imagine.
But
Anyway.
she wants to throw a special party for her daughter. Her daughter is into Egyptology, and therefore she goes to Fuad Ramsey's to cater a very special. She wants a very special, unusual feast, and he proposes all of the time looking over her shoulder, and I presume at the cameraman, and then at the recording stage,
And the script.
and not looking at her. Apart from the bit where he does the
His
hypnotic
eyes are brilliant. His eyes are brilliant. And
Anyway.
I absolutely love the way he looks. And I really like the actor as well. It reminds me a little bit of Bruno Togliani, in a way, but carry on. And I really like Bruno Togliani. Carry on.
Anyway, so he's going to cater for this party, but he's actually a follower of Ishtar, a 5,000-year-old Egyptian goddess who loved sacrifice and blood and murder and all this kind of stuff. And at her ceremonies, they'd chop up 20 virgins, cook them, and then eat them. And so he's going to make this very special, authentic Egyptian feast.
Yeah, which I think is a great idea.
Brilliant. I really like the concept, because
Yeah.
there's a backdrop of 7 young women having been murdered and the amazing police force having no idea what's going on.
We'll get, and I think we'll get onto the detective in a minute.
Yeah,
He needs his
great.
own little mention. I just wanted to mention about the lack of any sort of suspense, really. I mean, the film opened, the very first scene was, we saw Fo Ramsey killing this woman.
Yeah.
He chops off this woman's leg in the bath.
Yeah.
But they forget to put any blood in the water. So
Yeah.
she's got no leg and the water's clean.
All the blood's on the
something
side of the bath, on the outside.
There's something about that first scene though that really, really caught me, and I really, really enjoyed it because obviously the production quality is really low, so you can kind of hear the sound of the room. The line of the shot is not really shot by someone that's probably studied film. I don't think Herschel Ramsey's probably the most talented of framing a shot. So there's some sort of realness in a weird way it gives it. So that first scene in the bath, I was quite taken by it. And there's some really odd trumpet moments. So the soundtrack, you've got this wonderful sort of trombone.
All right, well, let's come back to the sound. We'll
Trumpet.
do sound effects in a bit, otherwise
Yeah.
we'll go all over the place. So let's focus a little bit more on the performances.
Yeah.
Because they're a rare treat.
They are.
Okay. Let's start with the detective. I mean, now, from what I understand, he was a last-minute replacement.
Which one? Oh, the detective, not the chief.
The guy who banged his hand on the table and said, "We gotta sort this out." That sort of guy. I mean, I think he's the worst actor I've ever seen in my life.
We're talking about the more superior
The one
one.
sitting down.
Yes.
Yeah,
Chief
the
Frank.
chief.
He sits there. You can see he's looking away and reading the script as he's talking.
And there's also he's evidently never done that whole kind of you can move and talk at the same time. So he delivers a line, and evidently in brackets somewhere it kind of the action is bang the table, and he goes, "Damn it, Pete! We really need to solve this."
It is good.
It's woeful, isn't it?
No, it's
but
good.
See, the thing that I find brilliant about that is he's the chief, and to begin with, he's kind of telling Detective Pete Thornton what needs to happen, and then about halfway through the film, Pete either has had a conversation off film saying, "I tell you what, the chief has lost it. He doesn't know what's going on. I've got to take control." Or the writers just forgot who was in charge.
Yeah.
Because he just kind of goes, "Do you know what? I'm just going to tell my boss what to do."
Yeah.
And it all goes a bit back to front.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely.
We wouldn't worry about that.
No, it was.
Yeah. Go on.
It's just so the chief is one thing, but I think Detective Pete Thornton is something completely different.
So let's talk about him then.
His some of his dialogue is amazing. So he's actually going out. You find out part of the way through, he's going out with Suzette Fremont, and that is a weird relationship.
Oh,
She's young and hot, and he's just old and creepy in the way only the 60s can do.
Yeah, and I've just got to say, there's a bit where they park on the beach.
Yeah, that was weird.
And he says, "Let's stay here for a bit." She goes, "Okay." And he kind of puts his hands back. And he's expecting a little surprise.
Yeah, it's definitely like he's expecting a blowjob.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought that was my new favourite bit.
But then he also sits there going, "Oh, I've wanted to be alone with you for so long, and now I'm here with you. I don't know what to do with you. Well, I've got a couple of ideas. I'm not sure whether you're safer with me or you would be with the murderer."
Yeah.
What does
Don't
that mean?
tease. Yeah, absolutely.
There is an amazing scene. I think it's quite famous in this film where Ramsey gets her tongue.
Yeah.
But the effects. Well, anyway, we'll get on to the effects as
Pulls
well.
this massive tongue out of her head.
Yeah.
Turns out it was a sheep's tongue.
Yeah.
And that takes some strength on the film.
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about. Well,
Ramsey's not pissed
let's
about.
talk. Let's talk about the effects now, because
Yeah.
I thought the effects were really very good.
Yeah.
The sheep's tongue was by far the best one.
Yeah.
But
even the bit where they crack open one of the girls' heads and they're kind of
Scooping
Trudy's
out,
heads,
yeah.
and you kind of get this. It's obviously viscera from an animal because it looks real, and I agree. I think the effects of hacked up body bits.
yeah,
And
and
that's
the leg with the bone sticking out, I thought that was very good
Yeah.
when she's in the bath at the start. So I think Laurie, you hit the nail on the head because he said that he focused everything on the effect and nothing on anything else.
He wanted to shock. And as I say, this is.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
Not for the reasons
you know,
he's
the
hoping.
whole Sam Raimi and the people that made all the Dawn of the Dead films and all that. They say Herschel G. Lewis is the godfather of all this, all this kind of horror gore stuff. He's the one that did it first of all. And the murders, it's inventive, it's strange. And I think a lot of the stuff that we find funny and we say, "Oh, bloody hell, this film was made by an idiot." I think he deliberately kind of put that in there. These were conscious decisions. I mean, right at the end, am I allowed to get to the end yet?
Go on.
Yeah.
You might as well.
Ramsey's escape.
So
He decides to escape in a what?
No, so. No, go on. What does he escape?
He jumps in the back of a bin van in a massive compactor. "Oh, just escape in here. Just jump. No. This will be fine."
Not realising that evidently protocol for bin lorry drivers is to, as soon as they start pulling away, is to fire the crush button.
Yeah.
So the whole thing closes down on him and you see him in the slow motion. The thing for me, though, is throughout the whole film, part of his characterisation is he has a very severe limp.
Yes.
Which slows his mobility quite substantially.
Yeah.
Yet still, that chase between the police and him was about 5 miles he managed to stay ahead of them. And in the end, leapt into the back of a bin lorry.
He's
and
got to
squished.
get some payback though. This Egyptian goddess has got to give him some sort of voodoo.
Maybe.
So maybe it's his speed.
Yeah,
That's how she repays him.
But I like the way that it didn't go into the supernatural. There was no supernatural element about it. It was just
Oh, there is, right at the very end there is.
What?
Just when it goes the end, and then it cuts to the statue of Ishtar. And
There's blood coming.
You're right. Yeah.
Well spotted.
Quick one again.
Yeah,
I like that. I love that whole Egyptian thing and that sort of murder and eating of flesh and all that stuff because it kind of again he was sort of dressed up a little bit like Jack the Ripper. If I put a hat on him and maybe a cape, it's very Jack the Ripper-esque.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of the murders that Jack the Ripper was doing was very much sort of this sacrificial eating of flesh kind of murder. So there's that kind of a tie-in again that I kind of like.
Yeah, that worked, and I think his face was good.
Yeah.
I can imagine him creeping people out. What I didn't get is why they didn't cast people the right age. Because all the guys had talcum powder in their hair. The guy who played the girl who got killed on the beach.
Her boyfriend Tony.
Oh,
he's a
wonderful performance.
Oh my god, she did.
Yeah.
Prove to me you love me.
Me too, yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
But her father was about 20 and he had a dusted and talcum powder.
Talcum powder, man. That's just work.
They must have just grabbed people from the street to do this.
I did quite like in some of the shots you can see members of the public just in the background looking on.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
I didn't spot that.
So when they finally figure out it's Ramses and they go and invade his emporium, you can see there's this fat guy and these two kids just stood in the background staring as the police guys turn up. Yeah, very funny.
Well,
do you want to talk a little bit about sound?
The sound. Well, yeah. Again, that was like I said, really at the beginning. It's just I love the fact that you can hear kind of the room and the environments that they're in. I love that. For some bizarre reason, probably a lot of people wouldn't like that because it gives it a cheapness again.
Yeah.
But the soundtrack, you've got that kind of sort of 60s kind of organ, which is always good fun, and then really random trombone and trumpet moments.
And the drumming. Dum,
dum, dum,
Yeah.
dum,
dum. Yeah,
which I quite like.
That's just good too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is kind of shit, but it's kind of good, and it's given birth to kind of that sensationalism. It got a really it got a great response. Obviously, it took 4 million at the box office, which was great. So Herschel realised he was onto something. I think he made a couple of crap ones after this, but the Gruesome Twosome's supposed to be really
After
good.
this.
Yeah, Gruesome Twosome's supposed to be really good. That's about a hairdresser, but she makes really great wigs, and the wigs are like second to none. How do you make such great wigs? She's basically got a son down in the basement who's, basically murdering young girls and stealing their hair. That's supposed to be really good.
Okay.
My favourite was the Wizard of Gore that he did, that I actually showed that to you, but you fell asleep. You did a Blade Runner on it.
It was probably about 4 o'clock in the
The
morning.
Wizard of Gore is really, really great.
Alright, so back to this film.
Yeah.
What if you had to pick a favourite scene, what would it be?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go on.
So, this film just makes me swear at Detective Pete Thornton every time because he's just the worst detective in the world. There's a piece, one of the murdered girls. She's in hospital and they go and ask her a question. And
Is that the one covered?
Yeah, completely covered. Her whole face is covered. And then they say, "So who did this to you?" I don't know. I didn't see anything. He came out of the dark. Oh, scary eyes. He's an old man. So I did see him. Shh, don't tell me. and then she tells them that he says your sacrifice is for Ishtar. Now, Detective Pete has just been to a bloody lecture talking about Ishtar, and the closeness between Ishtar and Ishtar. I would expect a really successful detective to get there a lot fucking quicker. And the best scene is where he's sat in his office. Oh, sorry, the chief's office. He's got aspirations.
The chief is gone.
The chief has gone to do some work and left Detective Pete there. And he's there going, Ishtar, 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 Ishtar. And then he has like a light bulb moment and goes, "Oh, I've got a hunch." Pick the phone up, phone the professor. Any chance Ishtar and Ishtar? It's just brilliant. Him trying to link Ishtar and Ishtar. It's amazing.
I have to say, when you say the office, it was basically just a hallway, wasn't it, with a desk in it.
With a desk in the corner. Yeah.
And just on that, even though that girl's face was completely covered by a bandage, her performance when she died was just appalling. Yeah. She did. It just exhumed from it. Laurie, what was your favourite scene?
Hard. I'd probably have to go tongue. Yeah, tongue.
Yeah.
The first bit of it when he just puts his finger in her mouth. She's like, oh no. He's really not applying any pressure at all. You can quite easily tell, but she's in lots of trouble apparently about it. So, yeah, that bit.
I think I like the dumpster bit at the end. Yeah, that's how it gets finished off. And,
dumpster is great.
Yeah, and that it wasn't original. You know, I didn't see it coming. Well,
no, I agree, and I also quite like the fact that Detective Pete and Chief Frank are just stood at the back of this bin lorry, and Detective Pete gives his big, well, actually, Chief Frank, you want to know how I cracked the case? And gives them that kind of ridiculous explanation of it. And then instead of kind of going, right, calling this off, call in some whoever we call in when there's a dead body, they both just, one lights a fag, one lights his pipe, and just goes, should we go home? Yeah. And just leave a dead body with a guy from the bin.
Yeah, the bin man. What the fuck am I supposed to do with it? All right. Has anyone got any memorable lines? I've got just one really. I think it was definitely Suzette the daughter when she said, "I was reading all about these murders." Takes all the joy out of it.
Yes, I noted that one down. Takes the joy out of everything.
Takes the joy out of everything.
And her mother has a belter where, and it's one of those. I think there's a lot of lines in here that are accidentally funny, or the performances are so bad they make them funny.
Yeah.
Definite deliberate joke is this one where she comes into the kitchen to see Fuad about to murder her daughter. She screams, Fuad runs away, Chief Frank and Detective Pete come in, and then they say, we're really sorry, Mrs. Fremont, but Ramsey's been cooking up women. The dinner you were going to have, that was women. And she says, oh, I guess my guests will have to have hamburgers instead. And it's just ridiculous. Brilliant.
Right.
I'd say Pete's explanation at the end. Yeah. This is how I figured it out.
You remember that book? Yeah, that book. Oh, yeah, absolutely brilliant. I did like the newspaper headline as well.
Yes,
legs cut off.
Yes. But on closer viewing, there was a smaller strapline above that, which made it a little bit gave it a bit more sense.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't until I watched it for the first time.
What was it?
Oh, a terrible grisly murder where legs cut off. Something like that. All right, so have we said enough about it? Anyone want to say anything else before we score it?
I think we have. I
agree. It's only an hour.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to spend any more time.
So 63, this is a time of things just about to pop. Like we had like you say, you had the Beatles there, and then this kind of sensationalism that's stuck in the cinema. They banned it quite quickly, and they stuck it into some more private, darker cinemas, more underground. But we were exposed to this new kind of.
Yeah,
film.
and if you think about earlier, we mentioned Altered Carbon on Netflix.
Yeah.
Way more violent, way more bloody, way more gory.
Well, actually, no.
55 years later, nobody bats an eye at that kind of stuff in
So in some ways it was a bit groundbreaking. Yeah. All right, well, let's take a quick break and we'll come back. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back. And
I'm going to break this.
Right, all right, so I made a score chart, but I'm only for myself, really.
Wow.
Unless you want to use it.
That's nice.
I'm not going to go through the scores.
Is that Excel, is it?
What I wanted to do was... I wanted to give a more measured score out of these. So I've broken it down into different areas, like performance and stuff like that. So that's how
That's a lot of different areas. Oh, right, you're not going to cover all those areas.
I'm not going to... No, I'm just going to give the score because it's too much. But
are there 10 areas?
Yes, which...
It makes it easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to use it, but you can have a look. Oh, right, so shall I go first then? Because I've worked my score out.
Do it.
All right, so I had to mark it down, obviously, for things like performances, but it got. I quite like the sound and the effects and things like that. I didn't hate the story, and it was quite enjoyable. It wasn't like Fahrenheit where I was bored, senseless. I did like this film, but all for the wrong reason. So I've given it a score of 58.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'd say, I'd kind of go round the 60 town. It might deserve a bit more because obviously it did, give birth to a lot of cool stuff. And it was, it was just a new kind of opening, as it were. But... is it worth watching? Yeah, it kind of is. 60 worth watching.
Good stuff.
I think I agree with both of you. I did actually quite like the concept, and nothing wrong with a Egyptian cult. Always good.
Yeah.
And I think it is worth watching. It's an hour out of your life, and it's hilarious. And as you say, if this was the start of that kind of gore fest we're now in, I'd go 56.
Do you know what? I have to say, there was never a dull moment. There was never a dull scene.
No.
There was something to watch, whether it was a bad performance or an effect or something like that. So, right, that means the scores are in. Means it gets a Lighthouse appreciation rating of 58%.
58%.
So, where does that put us against?
It puts it second.
What the cheese?
Yeah, it puts it above Fahrenheit, but below Crush. So I feel really bad about In the Mouth of Madness. But I think we'll always feel bad about that because it's always going to be the 35. It's a terrible score. But I think it just proves that we should watch all the films together. Right. Okay. Right. So we're going to change the concept a little bit.
I'm going to shake it up.
Yeah. Now Nico's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are.
No, I wasn't saying
No.
Yeah, I wasn't saying yeah about the dick. I was about shaking it up.
We're going to open it up a bit. So it's my choice this month. We're going to stick to the same concept, except you're going to give me 2 films each from that year or the category.
Right.
And then I'm going to choose a film from each of you. And we're going to spend 20 minutes on each one next time. So with any luck, it'll give us a more broader kind of outlook on the year or the kind of subject.
Okay. I think what you're implying there is the films that we've chosen so far are
nobody's seen.
Nobody's seen. I'm like, I can't be arsed listening.
It would be like,
about a film I'm never going to watch. Yeah. They don't bloody like it either. They're desperately trying to like it and make it interesting. So we're going to have a bit of a broader kind of...
That's the idea, really.
Bring in,
what's
it called,
and also,
16
one
candles.
film a year is pretty hard, isn't it? When you've got all those films to choose from. So, it'd have been great for us, obviously, this month to talk about maybe Day of the Triffids or The Birds.
I watched Day of the Triffids.
But it doesn't matter, because we can't talk about it. So...
he's a stickler for the rules.
I'm going to choose the
James's
year.
Ball Bag of Wonder.
Or the number.
Something that he himself is used to rummaging with. Come on, pick a good one, James. Or lie to us.
Okay, 30.
Do you still have the list?
Go on.
Or are you going to use it to lie to me?
What is number 30?
Number 30 is...
I don't know whether this is... It's not the 1960s.
Yeah.
Thank God. Or the 90s.
It is Australian Cult.
Right. Okay.
Now, does that mean cult film or films
It does
about
say cult,
Australian
does it?
cults?
There have been some absolute conkers come out of Australia, particularly across the 80s.
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you go away, find the films and come back and let me know.
Okay.
All right.
I'll see you in a minute.
Lighthouse.
Alright, so we're back. Can I say, it's kind of refreshing that we're not doing a year for a change.
Yes.
It is.
Very
it
pleased
is.
about that.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of myself because I did obviously open up Google after you plumbed up Australian Cult. And I suddenly realised I know my 2 without Googling.
Hey, nice work.
Yeah, and they're really good.
Alright, so Wyndham, do you want to tell us yours?
No, Laurie, you go first.
I'm only kidding. Yeah, go on, Laurie, let's hear it.
Right, mine, first of all, is standard, obvious. Mad Max 2.
No, I was going to pick...
Of course you were. Everyone was.
I wasn't really.
Right.
Oh, okay. Mad Max 2 is
all right.
That's the definitive
Okay. Wyndham?
one.
I'm going to go Romper Stomper.
I know that. What is
Which
that?
is Russell Crowe, one of his earlier films. It's about a bunch of skinheads getting all kicked
Right,
off.
okay.
Yeah.
Second one, Razorback, which is basically Jaws, but it's a wild boar. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Oh,
It's brilliant.
Alright.
I feel there's almost no point in me even suggesting it. I've gone slightly more mainstream, more commercial horror with Wolf Creek.
Oh, see, I don't like that. It's a horrible film, isn't
I
it?
haven't seen it.
Have you not seen it?
No, I don't like horror films.
Right.
It's good. It's well made, but it's like it's kind of real horrible.
Okay, so I am gonna go.
Just for the listeners
I
out
think
there.
there's-
Just for the listeners
I've
out
already
there.
decided.
I think there's two.
Right.
I know what I'll pick.
Razorback Romper Stomper.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Not Mad Max 2.
No.
Okay.
Sorry. I think I'll be interested. It was in fact, Mad Max 2 was bottom of my list.
Oh my God, Mad Max 2 is amazing. But yeah, you've got Razorback there, so I'm happy.
Yeah. So
Is Romper Stomper kind of like a sort of a violent?
I don't know. I haven't seen that either.
Okay, I haven't
So
seen it.
we may be safe with Mad Max, but that's not the way the die has been cast.
That's all very exciting. So I'll see you next time. Maybe
Yeah,
a bit sooner. This time.
Just to let you know, everyone
Yeah.
out there, so you might be aware of, back in the day, there used to be a sort of a TV show called Movie Drone. And for me personally, that influenced this podcast a lot. I wanted to do something like that. I really miss Movie Drone. It was presented by Alex Cox and a guy called Mark Cousins. And Mark Cousins, bless his cottons, got back to me on Twitter and gave his recommendations for what he would have picked on the years that we've been plumbed on. And I don't actually have them to hand, so apologies for that. But I will be reaching out to Mark to find out what his Australian cult would be. So yeah,
Great. Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Excellent. I was just going to say we have an Instagram page where we are at the Movie Lighthouse on Instagram. So feel free to drop by there.
Facebook.
Are we at the Movie Lighthouse there?
At Movie Lighthouse, I think.
At Movie Lighthouse. That makes sense.
Twitter at Movie Lighthouse.
So I'm the one who's out of step with Instagram, yeah?
no, you're great. You're great with this. I don't quite get Instagram though. I feel I'm under pressure. I have to make a photo of something.
No, you don't. You can just anyway. We can do this offline.
Yeah, but please, and also if you like what you hear, please rate and review us on iTunes because it really does help for people to find us.
Yeah, okay. I've actually got to Mark's response actually on the years that we've chosen. So first of all, we had 94, so we were in the mouth of madness.
Yeah,
and he responded with Santiago. Am I saying that right?
Satan Tango.
Satan Tango, all right? And Mark knows his gig. So Satan Tango, for everyone out there who's interested. 1996, turns out we got it right. Well,
in the mouth of madness?
No, he said Crash.
Right, okay.
So you would have chosen Crash. In 1996, The Battle of Algiers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something to watch. And 1963 was actually your choice. The Birds, he says. That's the film of the year.
So we're not too far off.
We're not too far off. And this is from the Movie Drone Boys.
Right.
This is great. Anyway.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, everybody.
See you next time.
Have fun.
Cheers.
Lighthouse.